I've heard you talk about the fact that the movie's based on a real conversation a friend of yours was having. Can you talk a little about
I mean, it just started out from overhearing this conversation just a long time ago, and then I suppose that just got me going, and then I just wrote from that.
What was the conversation these people had?
It's about somebody who it was just similar to something in the scene, and somebody who has a dark past and was talking about it, but was talking about it in a very not what I expected. It was very sort of tough and cold in the conversation, but also friendly. So they were good friends, and I don't know. It just interested me, and then. I mean, the rest of the story, I sort of built from that. There was something in that conversation. I think the coldness, but also the warmth. I think the relationship between Kate and Samantha, I think I sort of got from a conversation and just wanted to build upon it.
More questions? Yes, right here.
What's the significance of there's a theme of women going up that right staircase, long train, current theme,
I don't know. It's difficult to say, what the meaning of it. It was. I mean, there were just pictures that I had within the script, and to be honest with you, some of them didn't come till pre-production, and I knew we shot them, and I knew we would use them in the film, but where we would use them in the film, I wasn't quite sure. And the last shot was as it were, the money shot was the shot we spent the most time on, and we spent a lot of attention to it. But where it was going to be in the story, it wasn't always clear right in the beginning. I mean, the script and then what you finally see here are two different things. It's the first film, so all the way to that.
Was the girl who played Samantha a model before she became an actress?
Yes, but in Hong Kong, they model and actress at the same time. But her name's Jessie Meng. She's from Taiwan and she's based in Beijing. And she works in 3 languages. I mean, there's English and there's Mandarin and Cantonese, and it's quite difficult to find people who can do the 3. So she did that. And
right over there.
The significance of the street name. Exit. For those that are not familiar with Hong Kong.
Okay, Magazine Gap Road would be, I'm trying to think of the New York equivalent. It's sort of like, it's not like Madison Avenue. It's more the rich suburbs. But it's, in Hong Kong, it's a street, it's a road that's up on the peak. So in Hong Kong, the peak is, it's just above the central part of Hong Kong, called Central, and it looks down on it. And it is this winding road. And all the governors, the top bankers, and all the lawyers all live along this street. And when I first went to Magazine Gap Road, I'm not from Hong Kong. I'm not a local Hong Kong. But what struck me about it was it's not like the Hong Kong that I knew. It's like a different world up there, as it were. It's very quiet. It's got this fog, and a lot of gated houses and security guards. And so that sort of got me going a little bit with the story, I was sort of interested in doing this. And it was fun because we worked a lot along Magazine Gap Road shooting it and up around the peak. And the crew were just they'd never seen this part of Hong Kong before. They were like, this is not Hong Kong, it's a different world up here. So yeah, I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I know how come sometimes they talk in English. Is that just part of
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it works. But, at the time, it was a really good idea. What happened was because of, making films in Hong Kong is different from Asia. The pre-production was only 2 weeks, and the casting was done very quick. And what ended up happening was that some of the acting in some of the languages wasn't working. And we weren't going to have English in it. It was supposed to be Mandarin and Cantonese. And then the nature of things, Carl seemed to work better in English. So we thought, in the end, let's just go with what the actor's most comfortable with, and let's just hope that in editing, we can either pull it off or work it out. but it's quite difficult. I mean, and Jessie, I mean, for her to work, it meant that she had to take on the burden of playing 3 languages to match her scenes. But yeah, it's
Well, also Hong Kong has real language snobbery.
yeah. No, and I, to be honest with you, I mean, the Hong Kong that I know is a mixture of Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. I mean, this sort of world. So I felt it belonged to the film. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's hard. I mean, the Cantonese is also funny because Elvis has lived in Beijing for the last 5-6 years, and his Cantonese is a little different because he's lived away. So some Cantonese, you know, some friends of mine were like, you know, his accent's a bit, it's changed, and somebody was saying, you know, it's difficult.